little bit of a different type of council roundup. Got some audio highlights, but definitely I'm glad that we're able to line up some aldermen from last night. We talked with Alderman Joe McMiniman, a little bit about the Taylor home as well. We'll talk with Alderman Sean Gregory coming up about that. Something else that came up last night was law enforcement technology. Good bout of debate from all interested parties. You had Kenny Winslow, the police chief, up there discussing some of these issues. And even Alderman Ralph Hanauer raising some questions and making some issues known. And in particular, Alderman, one thing I picked up and just what I've been able to review from some of the meeting was you wanted to see these not just on one side of the city. You wanted to see these license plate cameras in Ward 10 as well. Tell me a bit about your thoughts on that. Good morning. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me. Quite honestly, these license plate readers, we have a big problem over here with people coming in. They drive a car in, and then they drop off a bunch of people, and they go around and they check all the cars, breaking into cars, And in this case, camera could tell us what kind of car it is, and they could go out and see all the cars that were in that make and model, and what the license plate is on it, and then they could, the police could go, and it's just a way of solving crime. The whole premise of getting better technology for the police is simply solving crime. Police can't be everywhere all the time, and these are kind of eyes that we have that the police can utilize when there is a crime in a certain area.
Well, I know that Police Chief Winslow, he talked about how these can be the police eyes for 24 hours a day, and the shot spotter can be the police ears for that time of for that reference as well. So one argument that was brought up last night, though, and I'll just play this clip that I do have queued up of Alderman Roy Williams Jr. He talked about this type of technology being effective, helping solve crimes, but he seemed to focus more on being able to use this, not specifically, but as a deterrent and as a investigative tool against shootings that may happen. Here's what he had to say last night, and we'll cue this up.
What's the sense in having it in your ward if you haven't had gunshots in 3 years?
So I ask you, do we have the luxury right now to use this for all crimes, or should we just focus this on areas where there are shootings happening?
Well, I think Roy was confused about us wanting he thought we wanted shot spotter over in our area. That would be a waste of money. He's right. We don't have a lot of shooting. Although I've had, we had one murder and we've had some drive-by shootings in Westchester. So we do have it, not as much as what the East Side has. But one thing that I think he was just confused that we were talking about shot spotter and not the license plate readers.
Gotcha. Well, that's probably my confusion in hearing that clip. But one thing that Alderman Williams did highlight was how this might take away some of the apprehensions that people have of reporting these crimes, of being retaliated against, right? I mean, this is not going to be necessarily the neighbor that's going to be giving somebody a license plate they saw. This is going to be a camera capturing this and providing that investigatory tool for law enforcement.
Right. And again, keep in mind at the time we were talking about shot spotter as well and how they work together.
Yeah.
In this case, what would happen is there would be let's say the shot spotter sees here's a shot, and then we could go to the map, see where it is, and wherever our LPRs are, we could see if someone could just give us what type of car it is. We could literally go in because it does tell you what kind of vehicle it is, and these LPRs, and so you could narrow it down to a certain vehicle, to certain license plates to where the police could go investigate, who was in that area and whatever. So technology is important. I think what it gets down to is technology is important.
Well,
And I think
Alderman,
that,
and I've got very few moments left here. I'm actually going over the news break just a little bit, but one thing you raised last week that I reported out to a statewide audience, and I got to say, I had a lot of people from other jurisdictions from across the state reach out to me, and with the quote that I pulled from you talking about concerns of, you want to make sure directors or aldermen or councilmen don't have access to this type of data willy nilly. Did you get any other assurances that type of abuse is not going to happen? Because that's something that other people across the state are worried is happening in their backyards.
well, I can tell you that the next thing we'll do, that I am planning on doing, since we're getting the license plate readers, is I'm going to make sure that only the police have access to it. That directors or even the mayor doesn't have access. I don't need access to it. The aldermen don't need access to it. I think that we have to be careful there. So I agree with you, but we need to, now that we're going to bring it in, now we need to make sure that we have that assurances.
Alderman Ralph Hanauer, greatly appreciate you taking the time with me this morning on such short notice, and happy belated birthday. How old are you now? 37?
I'm 61, and sometimes sitting up at the council chambers, I feel like I'm 81. So,
well, happy
those
birthday.
meetings get long at times. So,
happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and everybody have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, coming back for the council roundup, we will talk with Alderman Sean Gregory. So that's coming up here on the WMAY